So I've got 26 universities offering either a management degree or a business management degree. And just before we begin, this is just my opinions from attending 3 UK universities and working across investment banks, big tech firms, and professional service company. So let's start with tier 1, which is going to be LSE, going to have Bath, University of Warwick, and probably include UCL. Now, most rankings which look at business management degrees will normally put Oxford University as number 1 on the list, but since they don't offer either a business management degree or straight management, instead offering economics and management, I've left them off this tier list. If you do want to see where I ranked the economics and management degree on an economics tier list video, then go check out that video. Starting with LSE, no real discussion here. If there's going to be a finance-based tier list of any kind, then LSE will always be tier 1. You're going to get interviews once you graduate, and companies are definitely going to want to recruit you. There's nothing else which I want to say about LSE here. UCL, on the other hand, is a really interesting option here because traditionally it's been a science-based uni, but there's a lot of changes happening with UCL recently. They're expanding across London and going to essentially have a London-wide campus where you've got the original campus in Bloomsbury, but also UCL East Campus. And when it comes to management, the School of Management will be based in Canary Wharf, right inside the actual Canary Wharf building at 1 Canada Square. What exactly does this mean for a unified student culture across UCL? I don't know. It doesn't really sound that great. But if you're a current student based at either UCL East or in the Canary Wharf campus, then do let me know about how you feel being connected with the main location at Bloomsbury. But the standout feature for UCL School of Management will be the partnerships they developed, especially during its founding years 10 years ago with the London Business School, which is one of the best business schools in the world. And you just know, as a result of partnering with LBS, you're going to have a really well-developed course. The 2 courses at the university that stand out are international management, but more specifically, I'm quite excited by the new course starting in 2027 called Management Science. And from the prospectuses, this course will cover Python, R, AI tools. I'm really interested in seeing how this course develops. And from working in big tech companies, I just know that this management course is going to be a value degree, not only in finance firms, but in those big tech companies. Warwick and Bath, Warwick, just like LSE, is generally going to be a T1 uni in any type of finance ranking, but Bath, a solid non-Russell Group option, probably the best one out there, and competes with all of the heavyweights these days. And unlike LSE, which just focuses on making sure you graduate and get out the door, Bath and Warwick, especially Bath, is really great in putting you in placement years as part of your degree. And if I'm honest, having a general business management degree isn't going to make you stand out these days. Your CV, if you're doing that type of degree, has to have some very good modules, or it has to have some very good extracurricular activities, which includes having relevant industry placements. So having Bath as one of the best unis out there for industry placements definitely puts it comfortably in tier 1. Now in tier 2, we've got King's College, Loughborough University. We've got St. Andrews, Edinburgh, with St. Andrews here, Notts and Bristol. So Bristol University and University of Nottingham. So I don't know if this is announced yet, but if you're watching this video in a year's time, it'll be common knowledge. King's College is looking to merge with Cranfield University. And this is actually a common thing that's occurring across the university scene here in the UK, where a lot of universities are finding themselves in financial difficulties. And so mergers, just like the one that occurred at City and St. George last year, are going to be very, very common in universities across the UK now. Now, if you're wondering who or what Cranfield University is, I can't blame you. It doesn't do any undergrad courses, so you rightly are confused. But as a specialist postgrad uni, it's amazing for management. Cranfield School of Management is one of the oldest in Europe and consistently ranked top 5 in the UK or top 50 in the world. So this merger will bring massive benefits to King's College's business management degree, which is very good to have considering, just like UCL, it's traditionally known as a science-focused university. I was tempted to put King's in tier 3, as I do think it's an overhyped uni. If you've never looked at rankings, and you'd always think that King's is going to be ranked near the top 10, but in reality, it's usually ranked closer to the top 20. It's only because of its merger that I'm including it here in tier 2. Loughborough, another uni like Bath that competes very well with the Russell Group. It's got that reputation now as giving solid degrees and churning out excellent students who actually have a life and not just studying 24/7. but a lot of people don't even know where Loughborough is. In fact, it's a very, very tiny town. So you often get students traveling to other closer cities like Leicester to enjoy themselves. St. Andrews, I put that here because not only do I see it sort of as a chill uni, but you can actually choose a whole host of modules because it operates a flexible modular structure, making the course more exciting than other management degrees at other UK universities. But just like I mentioned earlier, where you really do need to stand out if you study business management, the fact that you can tailor your own business management degree here with your own modules, which you're excited about or are more relevant to the jobs that you're looking for, makes this standout university for me. Bristol, it just has that reputation. I know the staff at the uni would want it to be ranked in tier 1, but the reality is it's a tier 2 uni and a solid tier 2 uni. It's only recently started to feel competition from Bath as it's no longer seen as a top Southwest university, and they actually realized that too late, and because of that, Bath is just as good, if not better, than Bristol these days. So tier 3 universities, you will still get interviews at top places if you attend them, but make sure you've got good summer internships. And also, some of these universities will have big student populations every year as part of the intake. And so, by definition, you'd always hear of success stories from these universities. But in all honesty, it's just a numbers game. People are bound to make it. So, in tier 3 on my list, I'm going to have University of Exeter, I'm going to have Leeds, Durham, and Birmingham. University of Durham is here, and Manchester and City St. George, as it's called now. Durham, some people might be confused, especially it's known as a top university here. It's got a history, it's got that Oxbridge-esque university feel, but the management course offered at the university, in my opinion, isn't their main focus, which puts it here in tier 3. For tier 1 universities and some tier 2 ones, you better make sure you get at least one A star. But for Durham, of course, the normal offer would be closer to AAB, showing it's not really at the same level. So there was a period where Exeter was actually killing it in the rankings, consistently top 10 for several years. And I do maintain it's a great uni, but it's not tier 1. But you could switch this with tier 2, to be honest. I actually can't be bothered to do that right now, but I wouldn't have a problem doing that. But the last comment I'll make on this one is that top companies like JP Morgan, like Amazon, have chosen Exeter University to offer joint degrees for their own employees. And so that tells you a lot about the trust from the actual industry in terms of the level of teaching that occurs at this university. Birmingham, Manchester, I feel these are very similar in so many ways. Big cities with multiple universities, massive in terms of student populations, and a really good all-rounder universities where, unlike some unis which can feel a little isolated or have cliques, you will inevitably, due to the size of it, find something and a group of people that you like at the uni. It's difficult to say how good these universities actually are. There's a lot of students that you could end up in really good jobs, and equally, a lot of the students could end up in really bad jobs. It just matters at this university is how you apply yourself. Going to City, or specifically at the Bayes Business School, a well-regarded business school, but you do have to market yourself as a Bayes student rather than a City University student. That's the only way to make a standout here. There's nothing negative here to say about Bayes Business School, but as a university as a whole, what I've heard is there's often a negative connotation that a lot of the students don't really pay attention during lectures, they disrupt the lecturer, and so that kind of makes it a bad feel here. Now, when it comes to Leeds students, I personally found they're a bit more expansive than thinking. Even if they do pure finance degrees, let alone management degrees, not all of them want to end up in finance-based jobs. And when I looked online, there is some notion of classism here, which I think everyone should be aware of, where there seems to be a lot of upper-class snobbery. And if you're going to Leeds or a current student there, do let me know if you come across this kind of behavior as well. Okay, so tier 4 now. You've got University of Liverpool, got Cardiff University, you've got Strathclyde University, you've got Lancaster and Queen Mary. Lancaster was again similar to Exeter, where it was dominating the top 10 universities for a while. Now, for these group of universities in tier 4, they're not necessarily standing out against the tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3, but against all of the other universities in the country, so that's still over 120 universities, they definitely stand out. I made a full video on Queen Mary, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it here, but Cardiff, great city to study. The only issue with that and Strathclyde is that if you want to work in London, you're going to be doing a lot of long journeys for interviews and assessment centres, so do take them into account. So tier 5, again, I'm not saying these aren't as great as the other ones. definitely close to tier 4, and overall the gap between tier 4 and tier 5 is the smallest between any of the tiers out there. So tier 5, we're going to have the remaining universities, which is University of Sheffield, University of York, Newcastle, Reading, University of Southampton. York is closer to tier 4, but is a pretty secluded place to study. But for my research and talking to university staff across the country, I'm starting to see a lot of top unis, and especially more so for unis when it comes down the rankings, are starting to feel the pinch in terms of funding. And a lot of students often find out that their courses are closed just before they start the course. So looking at the emails the students have received, especially from the ones here, which from Sheffield or prospective Sheffield University students, where due to low student numbers, they didn't see continuing with the course as profitable, so they withdrew the offer from the students. And this was just before the students were about to start the course. The funding crisis for UK universities is real, and this will impact the quality of teaching that you have at almost every university. But talking about these universities, if these are the ones that you're interested in studying and it gives you what you're looking for in terms of location, cost, and quality, then tier 5 is just as good as tier 4 or even some of the tier 3 universities. So definitely attend them. I personally known students who graduated from Southampton, Reading, York, and all gave me positive feedback in terms of their experience, ended up with jobs starting at 50k and didn't regret anything as part of their university life. So at the end of the day, business management degrees are well respected as a whole. It gives you a well-rounded view of how organizations work from the top all the way down to the bottom in terms of strategy and leadership. And in terms of courses, when it comes to graduate salaries, they're often ranked as one of the highest out there for new graduates. If you do want to see where business management degrees rank with other UK university degrees in terms of graduate salaries, I'm going to leave a video where I cover that next to me. So go check that out, and I'll see you all in the next video.